How's it going, guys? I'm back. Today is November 1st. I've got my my order of comic books for the month of October. So my DCBS order. This is a good one. There's a lot of trades in it. I talked a little bit about it in my last video. There are some Magnolia books that were solicited a month in advance. So a lot of that stuff I'm just getting this month. And then I also have a decent size haul from Halloween Comic Fest, which was this past weekend. This is my dog. My dog's chilling back there. Hey, Winnie. Hi. So yeah, I'll start with the Halloween Comic Fest stuff. There's not a ton. There's some singles and some trades, and then I'll get into the single issues. There's 34 singles and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades. So yeah, single issues that I picked up this week from Halloween Comic Fest. These are not in the right order, which is okay. But this is the last issues of Pretty Deadly that I needed. This book is fantastic. The Emma Rios art is amazing. The story is okay. I don't think the story is anything that I would necessarily go out of my way for. I think the art is really the selling point for me in this book, but highly recommend this. I think Kelly Sudaconic has said that there's a chance that this might come back. There's only 10 issues of it. This is number 4, number 5, 6, and then this story arc is called For the Valkyries. It's split into 2 5-issue story arcs. This is number 7. Let's make sure. Yep, number 7. Covers on this book are awesome. They're all wrap around front and back. Number 8, number 9, and number 10. As far as I know, I don't know a whole lot of other things that Emma Rios has done in terms of comic books. If there's other things out there, please let me know, because Pretty Deadly is amazing from an art perspective. It's one of my favorite books. So would really like to read some other stuff by her. Okay, and then the rest of the singles are all one series, a series that I know a lot of people on here enjoyed when it was coming out. I never checked it out. A lot of my recent back issue buying has been series that I skipped out on as they were coming out, because like I'm getting these for $1 a book now, and they were $3 or $4 when they were coming out. So just kind of a certain feeling about getting a book for $1 when you saw it on the shelf and didn't pay $4 for it, so or $3 for it. I'm missing number 1, and I'm missing a couple of other issues, but this is Superior Foes of Spider-Man, the Nick Spencer run that went, I believe, 17 issues. Yeah, 17 issues. So this is number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Some really cool covers on this book. Just heard so many good things about it. Number 5. Really looking forward to reading this. Number 6. I really need an issue of a copy of number 1, or I need to find it online so I can start reading it. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10. Number 12, so I'm missing number 11. Number 14, so I'm missing number 13. Number 15. And number 16. So I'm missing 17, number 1, and then 2 issues in between. Very good deals on those. This weekend at 2nd and Charles for Halloween Comic Fest, it was buy 5, get 5. So those Pretty Deadly books and those Superior Foes of Spider-Man books were $1 a piece. I ended up getting them for 50 cents a piece. Really can't beat that. And then I picked up a couple of trades. First one I picked up is something that just looks really interesting to me. I don't know a ton about the actual story, but this is Zero Volume 1. So this is issues 1 to 5. It just has a really cool look and feel, like varying styles of art on the inside. It's written by Alice Cott, who I don't have a ton of experience with. I have read a few books that I wasn't totally over the moon about, so we'll see. And then I picked up, I think I talked about this in a couple videos ago, I picked up the first Ex Machina Deluxe hardcover. 2nd and Charles had 2 and 3. I passed on them because they were kind of expensive, but I went back and picked them up. This is Ex Machina Deluxe Edition Book 2. I read the first volume of this and absolutely loved it. I don't think it's necessarily practical to expect to find books 4 and 5, just because these are Wildstorm hardcovers that came out a long time ago. This is number 3. So I don't know if I'm going to, I might just pick up, I need volumes 7, 8, 9, and 10 in trade. I'll just find the old Wildstorm printings of the trades, and then I'll have the complete story, and maybe I'll stumble along volumes 4 and 5 in the Deluxe Edition. But anyway, that was it for Halloween Comic Fest stuff. Really excited to get all those things. That's all stuff that I'm going to read. That was really my focus, is to just find some stuff that I'm going to take home. And if this was the only thing that I had, would I go home and read it right now? And that's definitely all the case with all that stuff. So, all right, now on to new books. So this is all split by... It's all split by Marvel, DC, and Indie. No order other than that. Like I said, there's 34 singles in here, and actually I'm going to do these trades first. So there's a couple Mignola books in here. We're going to do those last. Got 7 to Eternity. This is volume 2. Written by Rick Remender. Art by Jerome Opeña. I was reading this in single issues, but the single issues were so expensive. I had a spare copy of number 1, so I ended up flipping my singles, and I still have a copy of number 1, which I think still goes for like $70 or more. It's a cool Remender fantasy story. I've read a lot of Remender science fiction, not a lot of Remender fantasy, so I think that's why this book appeals. And the Jerome Opeña art is amazing. It looks like there's some other artists on this book as well. James Herron's name is on it. James Herron's art is pretty cool as well. Really familiar with him through BPRD. So excited for that. And then I have the second, not really volume. This is the new Black Beetle hardcover. At the risk of butchering the name, Kara Bocek. This was collected in Dark Horse Presents 28 to 32, so serialized in that anthology series. Of course, this is Francavilla artwork. I read the first hardcover and I wasn't super crazy about it. I don't know if it's just not my style, but the Francavilla art is worth paying for. This is only $12.99 cover price, so I'm sure I paid like $8 for it or something on DCBS. You can't beat that, so we'll give that a shot. And then the other non-Mignola trade that I got, this actually came out last month, I'm pretty sure. This is the Colder Omnibus, printed by Dark Horse. This collects Colder 1 to 5, Colder the Bad Seed, and Colder Toss the Bones 1 to 5. I didn't even know that Toss the Bones was a thing. I just thought this collected Colder 1 to 5 and the Bad Seed, and I kind of thought that was it. But there's 15 issues in here. This $24.99 cover price. I paid like $16 for it or something. That's super crazy for 15 issues. I don't know a ton about the story, but Juan Ferrera's art is awesome. I've been reading a lot of that in Green Arrow. So excited to read that. Like I said, super good value at $16 or whatever for 15 issues. And then the rest of this stuff is all Mike Mignola stuff. Not all Hellboy stuff, but it is all Mike Mignola stuff. There are, I mean, if you know anything about me by now, if you've been watching my channel for a long time or for at least a little while, you know that there's very few things in comics that I love as much as Mike Mignola. If it's Mike Mignola scripted, plotted, drawn, I'll probably pick it up. If it's anything other than just a Mike Mignola cover, I'm definitely checking it out. And everything that Mike Mignola's name has been on that has come out since I started reading comic books, I have 100% picked up. So this was a big month for that stuff. There was 4 different books that came out at the same time. So I'm passing on pretty much everything in single issues now and reading it all in trade. My bookshelf back there, which I haven't really shown since I moved in here, but the whole top row is all Mignola stuff with this. I'll probably have to move down a shelf. But this is The Visitor, How and Why He Stayed. This is written by Mignola and Chris Roberson. I'm pretty sure Mignola's name is on it because he's like helping with the plot, not necessarily scripting the book. The art is by Paul Grist, which is not super typical of of what you'd see in a Hellboy universe book before. The imagery is very similar, but the way it's drawn obviously is not. So I think it's going to be interesting to check this out. I don't know a ton about what the story is about, even though I think that this guy right here was around when Hellboy showed up, when the Nazis kind of brought him here. So I think that's the gist. Very interested to get into that. I also picked up Mr. Higgins Comes Home. This is an original graphic novel written by Mignola. The art is by Warwick Johnson Caldwell. The art is also something that you wouldn't typically see in a Mignola book, but I think that's pretty cool. It's not a Hellboy book, so very interested to read this. This is a vampire story. Kind of read the notes from the authors at the very beginning of the book. Mignola is talking about the vampire stories that he loved and how they kind of inspired this book. So very interested to read this. Like I said, anything Mignola's name's on, I'm gonna check it out. Finally got the last volume of Baltimore. This is Baltimore, the Red Kingdom, Volume 8. I've been reading Baltimore for a long time, and really excited for it to kind of wrap up. I mean, we're at Volume 8 now, so it has gone on for a long time. But it's been totally worth it to have been reading the book for, if they're 5 issues apiece, 40 issues at this point. Would highly recommend going back to checking it out. These hardcovers are also really great. Perfect way to read the story. And then the big boy, the thing I was most excited about. I've been totally in love with this style of book since the original Hellboy ones came out. I have all 6 of them, including the art book that's printed in the same format. This is the Hellboy in Hell library edition. $49.99 cover price. If you're gonna buy it for cover price, it's worth every single penny. But if you want these, go ahead and check out In Stock Trades. They're like 27 bucks. Obviously oversized. Let's see. Just give you a comparison. I've done some videos talking about these in the past. I think my overview of the library editions 1 and 2 is a little dated at this point. That was me like at least 4 years ago, maybe 3.5, talking about these books, but I think my feelings about them kind of still stand. They are an amazing. This is an amazing book. You cannot beat how these are printed. Kind of has this like felt feel to them. Everything about this book feels deluxe. You get the words like deluxe edition on a lot of things. These are not actually called that, but they definitely feel that way. This prints all 10 issues of Hellboy in Hell, and I've been waiting to read this. I read the first volume in trade. Have not read the second volume, but I think it's going to be totally worth the wait. And then at the end, at page 250, we get an afterword, and then this is from here on out is random small stories that are collected. A lot of these that I've read in other places. The Exorcist of Vorsk is in here, and I've read that somewhere else. I don't know if it was in a Dark Horse Presents or what. And then you get probably 50 pages, 40 pages of Mignola sketches of Hellboy in Hell stuff, and then at the very end you get a little cover gallery from Hellboy in Hell, and then there's an additional story at the end that I didn't read any of it yet because I don't know if I've read it before, but if I haven't, I kind of want to be surprised. Over the moon about this book. Really excited to finally have another library edition. Obviously, it's going to take a long time for Mignola to put out 10 issues of Hellboy again in order to get another book like this. But I guess we'll see. And it sounded like he's kind of taking a break from writing comic books. I don't know if that's over now or not, but until then, Hellboy's kind of on hiatus. But if you haven't read it, there's plenty to catch up on. I mean, there's six library editions plus that, and then they're also doing omnibuses that are in hardcover and softcover. I'm pretty sure, maybe just softcover, but they're doing omnibuses that are a little bit better at printing things in chronological order in terms of like what makes sense in the storyline. The library editions don't always do that. A lot of times it's stuff that was printed around the same time, not necessarily what makes sense in chronological order, which, I mean, I've read them. When you've read them enough times, it kind of makes sense, but if you're someone who's new to the story, I think reading everything in chronological order might be a little easier. So highly recommend checking those out. I don't know when they come out. I won't be buying them because I have everything printed another way. I mean, who knows? Maybe I will buy them. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my best not to, but we'll see. Anyway, it's enough talking about Mike Mignola. On to single issues. Marvel, DC, then Independence. Like I said, 34 books here. I'm going to try and make it through this fairly quickly. We're like almost 16 minutes in at this point. So this is X-Men Gold, number 13. This is Mojo Worldwide. I have no fucking clue what this story is about. But we'll see. I picked up the X-Men Blue issues because they're tie-ins, or it's a crossover, obviously. This has Mike Mayhew art in it. Does the other one have Mike Mayhew art? It does not. So I'm going to show you the interiors. If the look of the interiors of this book interests you, I got to find some faces because that's really when you can tell. Really when you can tell that it's Mike Mayhew. If the interiors of this book interest you and you think it looks cool, here's a decent enough page. Like very photorealistic. Go check out the X-Men Origins Jean Grey book that Mike Mayhew did. It's a Jean Grey one-shot, and talking to him at Motor City Comic Con a few years ago, it sounded like it took him years to do that book because he did the art and he colored it. So highly recommend that. Anyway, that's Mojo Worldwide Part 1, Mojo Worldwide Part 2. Like I said, absolutely no idea what the story's about, but it's this Marvel Legacy stuff. Hold on, I'm getting a low power notification on my phone. This is obviously Legacy stuff, so that's Part 2. This is Part 3 with Magneto, and Part 4. So we'll see. Obviously, we'll give those a shot. And then on to DC books. There's a lot. It feels like there's a lot here. I didn't know I was reading this many DC books, but this one I'm super excited about, mostly because the reviews have been really good, and also because it just looks really good. This is Batman White Knight, number 1 of 8, written and drawn by Sean Murphy, which is awesome. I'm hearing that it's more of a Joker story than a Batman story. Just flipping through this, was very excited for that. Had that feeling about a lot of books in here. Was just very excited to open my comic book package this month. This is Super Sons number 9, Planet of the Capes. I don't know if it's because this is a monthly book and I'm not, and I'm not reading a lot of monthly books, but it just feels like this has taken a long time. Like the story's kind of dragged on. We'll see. I mean, overall, the book's fun. Wildstorm, issue number 8. The longer this book goes, the weirder it gets. We get more alien stuff and things like that, which is pretty cool. In love with this book. I mean, I say it every time I show it. So, and then 2 issues of Green Arrow. This is number 32, which is a metal tie-in. I'm sure this is completely non-essential. Gotham Resistance finale. We'll see. I mean, I'll read it, but who knows. And then this is part 1 of Trial of Two Cities, number 33. This says $2.99 on it, so it's not monthly yet. I was going to drop Green Arrow, but since it's going to monthly, I'm going to keep on for probably the first arc or so. I'm hoping that slowing the book down can help with the artist changes that we've come accustomed to, and kind of helps, what's his name, Percy, kind of, I'm sure he knows where he wants this story to go, but it feels like it's been meandering. So maybe by shortening the number of books that we're going to get more impactful issues month over month. That's really my hope. Superman, number 32. I really wish this book would go to monthly so Tomasi and Gleason can actually do it, but this is not Tomasi and Gleason. This is Breaking Point Part 2. This is the second part of the Deathstroke Lois Lane story. The first one was, I mean, it was decent, so I'm not going to complain too much about it, but this is Tomasi and Gleason back in the book. This is Imperious Lex number part 1. This is number 33. Really excited for this story arc. Every time that Tomasi and Gleason are on the book, we get a really awesome story. So, I mean, I just wish they would do it more. That's all that I'm saying. This is a monthly book that I'm really loving since I picked it up at 25. This is Aquaman Underworld. I think this is the Underworld finale. Mera and Tempest trying to break into Atlantis. This has been a really awesome book since I picked it up at 25 with the art change. Highly recommend it. Dark Knight's Metal number 3. I believe this came out last month and I just missed it, but I picked it up at the shop. Really excited to check this out. The story feels a little too large. Just my personal opinion. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of people loving that book, so I won't say too much more about it. But not picking up any of the tie-ins or anything. There's a little too much going on for my taste. And then 3 parts of A Lonely Place of Living. This is Detective Comics number 965, 966, and 967. This is Tim Drake coming back. I was off Detective Comics for a while. I'm only picking it back up for this storyline. That's all the issues, but the last one might be out already. It might not be. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll get it with my next month's order. And then maybe my favorite DC book coming out right now, definitely one of them. This is Mr. Miracle number 3. Everything about this book is fantastic. Mitch Garrett's art, I mean, this page is perfect. Mitch Garrett's art is fantastic. Everything he's done, I've read everything that he's done since I read Sheriff of Babylon. They did a really kick-ass Swamp Thing story in Batman. It was number 23, I'm pretty sure. Cannot recommend this book enough. I don't think I have the appropriate background knowledge about these characters to get everything out of this book, but it definitely makes me want to have that background knowledge, know more about this group of characters. So that's something that I'm going to have to work on. But the book itself, it's beautiful in how it's written and how it's drawn. Even if I don't have all of the required information, I'm loving it. So even if you don't know anything about Mr. Miracle, please pick that book up. And another Tom King book that's going to come out pretty soon, Swamp Thing. I think it's a winter special with Jason Fabok. That's going to be awesome. Let's give us another Swamp Thing ongoing. This is Batman number 32. This is the last couple DC books. It's the last issue from the War of Jokes and Riddles, which has felt like it's gone on for a really long time because of those interludes. But it's been a good story. The Mikkel Janin art kind of makes it next level for me. And then this is The Rules of Engagement Part 1. This is number 33. This has Joelle Jones on the art, which I love Mikkel Janin, but I think I love Joelle Jones more. Fell in love with her artwork reading Helheim, however long ago that was. Really looking forward to checking out this book. So there's that. That's all the DC stuff. Oh, throwing the bag all over the place. Sorry if you can hear the furnace. I don't know how loud that is. And then the rest of this stuff is these are all independent books. Start from the back because these are books that I picked up from the shop because I missed them in my order. This is Sherlock Frankenstein and the Legion of Evil, book 1. This is a spin-off from Black Hammer. Really excited and looking forward to this because of the David Rubin art. I wasn't familiar with him until I read, what's that book called? It's gonna bother me. It was an miniseries, 5-issue miniseries with Matt Kent where he did the art. It's really gonna bug me that I can't remember. Anyway, check that out. Also check this out. I'll read anything Black Hammer related. So, and then this is a new Valiant book. This is Eternity, written by Matt Kent. The art is by Trevor Hairsine, who does, as far as I know, a lot of this cosmic Valiant stuff. I really like Divinity, and then this is a new sort of cosmic Valiant character, so I decided to give that a shot. I'll probably end up reading it in trade, but I wanted to at least check out the first issue. And then I only picked this up because of the new Black Crown imprint at IDW. I'm not overly excited about this particular book, but this is Kid Lobotomy number 1. It appears to be really out there, which isn't necessarily something that would scare me away from a book, but still I'm kind of approaching this one cautiously, but also I'm also optimistic. This Black Crown imprint at IDW is run by, I don't know her name, but a longtime editor from Vertigo. IDW just put out a Black Crown anthology, like a quarterly book, which we've seen Vertigo do in the past. So if we get Vertigo type books out of IDW, I'll gladly pick them up. I usually avoid IDW because it's a lot of licensed properties and not a lot of not a lot of new stories and new characters. So, I mean, I'll check it out if we're gonna get more stuff like that for sure. Okay, and then the rest of these are independent books. Got some really good ones in here. This is The Unsound #5. I think this might be the last issue of the series. This is a 5-issue miniseries written by Cullen Bunn. The art's by Jack T. Cole. The art is fantastic. The story's a little out there for me. I don't know. I've liked it, not loved it. This cover is pretty awesome though. If there were to be anything else like that Unsound related in the future, I probably would not pick it up. This is Motor Girl #9. I love this book. For some reason, for the longest time, I thought it was an ongoing, but it's definitely not an ongoing. It's a 10-issue, like, maxi series, so that's going to be done pretty soon. And then this is a #1. This is Eugenic, 1 of 3, written by James Tynion. And the art is by Eric Donovan. Don't know a lot about the story in this, but it's only 3 issues, and looking at the interiors in the preview, it looked interesting enough to at least give it a shot. Looks very weird. But we'll see. I mean, because of how DCBS works, I mean, we'll have all 3 issues ordered before I decide if I like it or not. But we'll see. All right. And then we've got Redlands #3. This is written by Jordi Belair, who does a lot of color work. Art is by Vanessa Del Rey. I think I said this the last time I showed my books. Sorry. That our main characters are some witches that aren't necessarily like the greatest people in the world. So I don't know how that's gonna play out over a long-running series. Trying to make someone, trying to make our main character, your protagonist, likable when they're not always doing likable things. So we'll see. I mean, it's an interesting thing for sure. Royal City is back. This is #6. Jeff Lemire written and drawn. This book is fantastic. Would highly recommend checking that out. Just move the camera. This book is one of my favorites. This is Grass Kings #8, written by Matt Kint. The art is by Tyler Jenkins. I appreciate that with this book, unlike some other indie books. It felt like this is just continued to come out. A lot of indie books we get a break at 5 issues, but this has just been like consistent on a monthly basis. Really enjoying that. Tyler Jenkins' art is, if you've read Peter Panzerfaust, I did the art on that. And then this is Department H #19. This is also a Matt Kint book. This book was stumbling for me for a little while. I wasn't super crazy about it, but the last couple issues I've really picked up, and it's gotten to a really interesting place. Our group has now left the underwater compound because it's been destroyed. They're out in their ship, and the ship just ran out of power, so now they're stranded at the bottom of the ocean. That was a cliffhanger from the last issue. So looking forward to that one. I don't know how many issues then Matt Kint intends for that to go, but I mean, I hope it doesn't go on forever and ever. Maybe 10 or so more issues, I think, and then wrap it up. And then this is, if not my favorite book, definitely like top 3. Kill or Be Killed #13. Every issue of this book is it just completely blows me away. It just gets better and better with every single issue. The Sean Phillips art is amazing. The way the book is just laid out is, can't say enough about this. Check it out in trade if you're not reading it in single issues. Please and thank you. So that's it. Almost 30-minute long video. It's been a long time since I made a video this long, but I had a lot of stuff to show. Thanks for watching, guys. I probably won't be back for another month until I get another DCBS order, but I'll read these books in the meantime. Leave me a comment down below. What are you reading, liking? What are you not liking? Thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and I will talk to you again soon.